What do you want of me? There's no time to lose, and we must know our minds. We must be resolute. Who says I'm not resolute? You didn't attend our meeting yesterday. That's so, Cheria. Scipio, I'm older than you, and I'm not in the habit of asking others' help. But I won't deny it. I need you now. This murder needs honorable men to sponsor it. Among all these wounded vanities and sordid fears, our motives only, yours and mine, are disinterested. Of course, I know that if you leave us, we can count on your silence. But that is not the point. What I want is for you to stay with us. Understand, but I can't. Oh no, I cannot do as you wish. So you are with him. No, but I cannot be against him. Even if I killed him, my heart would still be with him. And yet, he killed your father. Yes, and that's how it all began, but that too is how it ends. He denies what you believe in. He tramples on all of that you hold sacred. I know, Cheria, and yet something inside me is akin to him. The same fire burns in both our hearts. There are times when a man must make his choice. As for me, I have silenced in my heart all that might be akin to him. But I cannot make a choice. I have my own sorrow, but I suffer with him too. I share his pain. I understand all. That is my trouble. So that's it. You have chosen to take his side. No, Cherry, I beg you, I don't think that. I can never again take anybody's side. Do you know I hate him even more for having made of you what he has made? Yes, he has taught me to expect everything of life. No, he has taught you despair, and to have instilled despair into a young heart is fouler than the foulest of the crimes he has committed up to now. I assure you, that alone would justify me in killing him out of hand. I've been hunting for you high and low, Cheria. Caligula is giving a little party here for his personal friends only. Naturally, he expects you to attend it. You, my boy, aren't wanted. Off you go. Cheria. Yes, Scipio. Try to understand. No, Scipio. But, but what can he want with us at this hour of the night? Sit there. If it's only to have us killed like so many others, why all these preliminaries? Sit down, you old mule. Better do as he says. It's clear he doesn't know anything. Yes, darling, quite clear. We should have acted sooner. I always said so. Now we're in for the torture chamber. Any idea what's happening? He's found out about the conspiracy. Yes, and then? The torture chamber for us all. I remember that Caligula once gave 81,000 sesterces to a slave who, though he was tortured nearly to death, wouldn't confess to a theft he had committed. A lot of consolation, that is, for us. Anyhow, it shows that he appreciates courage. You ought to keep that in mind. Would you very much mind not chattering with your teeth? It's a noise I particularly dislike. I'm sorry, but enough trifling. Our lives are at stake. Do you know Caligula's favorite remark? Yes, he says to the executioner, kill him slowly, so that he feels what dying's like. No, there's a better one. After an execution, he yawns and says quite seriously, what I admire most is my imperturbability. Do you hear? That remark betrays a weakness in his makeup. Would you be kind enough to stop philosophizing? It's something that I particularly dislike. Still, there's no denying it's remarkable. The effect this man has on all with whom he comes in contact. He forces one to think. There's nothing like insecurity for stimulating the brain. That, of course, is why he's so much hated. Look, perhaps you were right. Yes, waiting was a mistake. We should have acted at once. I agree, wisdom's come too late. But it's crazy. I don't want to die. Caligula has instructed me to tell you that whereas in the past he always summoned you for affairs of state, today he invited you to share with him an artistic emotion. He added, I may say, that anyone who has not shared in it will be beheaded. I apologize for insisting, but I must ask you if you found that dance beautiful. Yes, Casonia, it was beautiful. Lovely, lovely. Are you, Chariot? It was very high art. Good. Now I can describe your artistic emotions to Caligula. And now we must act quickly. You two stay here. Before the night is out, there'll be 100 of us. No, no, you stay. Let me go instead. Smells of death here. And of lies. I said that dance was beautiful. And so it was, in a way, most original. What's afoot? Do you know anything? The Emperor summoned us here. For the dance, maybe. What dance? Well, I mean, the artistic emotion. I've been told Caligula's very ill. He's a sick man, yes. What's he suffering from? By God, is he going to die? I doubt it. His disease is fatal, to others only. That's one way of putting it. Quite so, but hasn't he some other disease, less serious and more to our advantage? No, that malady of his excludes all others. If you want to know, Caligula has stomach trouble. Just now he vomited blood. Oh, mighty gods, I vow, if he recovers to pay the treasury 200,000 sesterces as a token of my joy. Oh, Jupiter, take my life in place of his. I accept your offer, Lucius, and I thank you. My treasurer will call on you tomorrow. You can't imagine how touched I am. So you love me, Cassius, as much as that. Oh, Caesar, there's nothing I wouldn't sacrifice for your sake. Ah, Cassius, this is really too much. I don't deserve all this love. No, no, really I don't. I'm not worthy of it. Take him away. Go, dear friend, and remember that Caligula has lost his heart to you. But where are they taking me? Why, to your death, of course. Your generous offer was accepted, and I feel better already. Even that nasty taste of blood in my mouth has gone. You've cured me, Cassius. It's been miraculous. And how proud you must feel of having worked the miracle of by laying your life down for your friend, especially when that friend's none other than Caligula. So now you see me quite myself again and ready for a festive night. No, no, I don't want to die. You can't be serious. Ah, soon the sea roads will be golden with mimosas. The women will wear their lightest dresses in the sky. Ah, Cassius, what a blaze of clean, swift sunshine, the smiles of life. Life, my friend, is something to be cherished. Had you cherished it enough, you wouldn't have gambled it away so rashly. The loser must pay. There's no alternative. Come, Casonia. By the way, an idea has just waylaid me, and it's such an apt one that I want to share it with you. Until now, my reign has been too happy. There's been no worldwide plague, no religious persecution, not even a rebellion. Nothing, in fact, to make us memorable. And that, I'd have you know, is why I try to remedy the stinginess of fate. I mean, I don't know if you followed me that well. It's I who replaced the epidemics that we've missed. That's enough. I see chariots coming. Your turn, Casonia. Caligula is dead. You're sure this dreadful thing has happened? It seems incredible. Only a short while ago he was dancing. Quite so, and the effort was too much for him. You've nothing to say, Charia. It's a great misfortune for us all, Casonia. Well played, Charia. Too bad. It didn't come off. Don't forget what I told you. Is he ill, Casonia? No, my pet, but what you don't know is that the man never has more than 2 hours sleep. and spends the best part of the night roaming about the corridors in his palace. Another thing you don't know, and you've never given a thought to, is what may pass in this man's mind in those deadly hours between midnight and sunrise. Is he ill? No, not ill, unless you invent a name and medicine for the black ulcers that fester in his soul. You're right, Casonia. We all know that case. Yes, you know it, in your fashion. But like all those who have none, you can't abide anyone who has too much soul. Healthy people loathe invalids. Happy people hate the sad. Too much soul. That's what bites you, isn't it? You prefer to label it a disease. That way all the adults are justified and pleased. Tell me, Cheria, has love ever meant anything to you? I'm afraid we're too old now, Casonia, to learn the art of love making, and anyhow it's highly doubtful if Caligula will give us time to do so. True enough. Oh, I was forgetting. Caligula asked me to impart some news to you. You know, perhaps that it's a red letter day today, consecrated to art. According to the calendar? No, according to Caligula. He's convoked some poets. He will ask them to improvise a poem on a set theme, and he particularly wants those of you who are poets to take part in the competition. He especially mentioned you, Scipio, and medalists. But we're not ready. Needless to say, there are prizes. There will be penalties, too. Between ourselves, the penalties won't be so very terrible. Already? Yes. Bring in the poets. And the others? Medalist Scipio. Subject death. Time limit 1 minute. Who will compose the jury? Aye. Isn't that enough? Oh, yes, indeed, quite enough. Won't you take part in the competition case? Unnecessary. I made my poem on that theme long ago. Where can one get a copy of it? No need to get a copy. I recite it every day after my fashion. Is there anything in my appearance that displeases you? I'm sorry. No meekness, please. For heaven's sake, no meekness. You're exasperating enough as it is. But if you start being humble, I continue, it's the only poem I have made. And it's proof that I'm the only true artist Rome has known, the only one, believe me, to match his inspiration with his deeds. It's only a matter of having the power, quite true. Only other artists create to compensate for their lack of power. I don't need to make a work of art. I live it. Well, poets, are you ready? I think so. Yes. Good. Now listen carefully. You are to fall out of line and come forward on one by one. I'll whistle. Number one will start reading his poem. When I whistle, he must stop. And the next begin. And so on. The winner, naturally, will be the one whose poem hasn't been cut short by the whistle. Get ready. You see, organization's needed for everything, even for art. Death, when beyond thy darkling shore. In their dim cave, the fatal sisters three come to death, beloved. When I was in my happy infancy. Stop that. What earthly connection has a blockhead's fancy infancy with a theme I set? The connection, tell me the connection. But Caius, I've only just begun, and ruthless. He goes his hidden ways. How long abstruse horizon. You haven't a tablet. I do not need one. Well, let's hear you. Pursuit of happiness that purifies the heart, skies rippling with light, a wild, sweet feastal joys, frenzy without hope. Stop, please. The others needn't compete. You're very young to understand so well the lessons we can learn from death. I was very young to lose my father. Fallen, the rest of you. No, really, a sham poet is too dreadful an infliction. Until now, I'd thought of enrolling you as my allies. I sometimes pictured a gallant band of poets defending me in the last ditch. Another illusion gone. Shall have to relegate you to my enemies, so now the poets are against me. And that looks much like the end of all. March out in good order. As you go past, you are to lick your tablets so as to efface the atrocities you scrawled on them. Attention! Forward! Now leave me, everyone. Now's our opportunity. Can't you leave me in peace as your father's doing? No, Caius, all that serves no purpose now. But now I know that you have made your choice. Won't you leave me in peace? Yes, you shall have your wish. I am going to leave you, for I think I've come to understand you. There's no way out left to us, neither to you nor to me, who am like you in so many ways. I shall go away, far away, and try to discover the meaning of it all. Good boy, dear Caius. When all is needed, remember that I loved you. What did he say? Nothing you'd understand. What are you thinking about? About him and about you too, but it amounts to the same thing. What is the matter? Scipio has gone. I am through with his friendship, but you, I wonder why you are still here. Why? Because you're fond of me. No, but I think I'd understand. If I had you killed, yes, that would be a solution. Do so then. But why, oh why, can't you relax, if only for a moment, and live freely without constraint? I have been doing that for several years. In fact, I've made a practice of it. I don't mean that sort of freedom. I mean, oh, don't you realize what it can be to live and love quite simply, naturally, in purity of heart? This purity of heart you talk of, every man acquires it in his own way. Mine has been to follow the essential to the end. Still, all that needn't prevent me from putting you to death. It would round off my career so well, the perfect climax. How strange. When I don't kill, I feel alone. The living don't suffice to people my world and dispel my boredom. I have an impression of an enormous void when you and the others are here, and my eyes see nothing but empty air. No, I'm at ease only in the company of my dead. Only the dead are real. They are of my kind. I see them waiting for me, straining toward me, and I have long talks with this man or that, who screamed at me for mercy and whose tongue I had cut out. Come, lie down beside me. Put your head on my knees. That's better, isn't it? Now, Raz, how quiet it is here. Quiet? You exaggerate, my dear. Listen. Do you hear those thousands of small sounds all around us? Hatred stalking its prey. Nobody would dare. Yes, stupidity. Stupidity doesn't kill. It makes men slow to act. It can be murderous, Casonia. A fool stops at nothing when he thinks his dignity offended. No, it's not the men whose sons or fathers I have killed who'll murder me. They, anyhow, have understood. They're with me. They have the same taste in their mouths. But the others, those I made a laughing stock of, I've no defense against their wounded vanity. We will defend you. There are many of us left who love you. Fewer every day. It's not surprising. I've done all that was needed to that end. And then, let's be fair, it's not only stupidity that's against me. There's the courage and the simple faith of men who ask to be happy. No, they will not kill you. Or if they tried, fire would come down from heaven and blast them before they laid a hand on you. From heaven. There is no heaven, my poor dear woman. But why the sudden access of devotion? It wasn't provided for in our agreement, if I remember rightly. Don't you understand? Hasn't it been enough to see you killing others? Why, without my also knowing you'll be killed as well? Isn't it enough to feel you hard and cruel, seething with bitterness when I hold you in my arms, to breathe a reek of murder when you lie on me? Day after day I see all that's human in you dying out, little by little. Oh, I know, I'm getting old. My beauty's on the wane. But it's you only I'm concerned for now, so much so that I've ceased troubling whether you love me. I only want you to get well, quite well again. You're still a boy, really. You've a whole life ahead of you. And tell me, what greater thing can you want than a whole life? You've been with me a long time now, a very long time. Yes, but you'll keep me, won't you? I don't know. I only know that if you're with me still, it's because of all those nights we've had together, nights of fierce, joyless pleasure, It's because you alone know me as I am. I'm 29, not a great age, really. But today, when nonetheless my life seems so long, so crowded with scraps and shreds of my past selves, so complete in fact you remain the last witness, and I can't avoid a sort of shameful tenderness for the old woman that you soon will be. Tell me that you mean to keep me with you. I don't know. All I know, and it's the most terrible thing of all, is that this shameful tenderness is the one sincere emotion that my life has given up to now. Wouldn't it be better that the last witness should disappear? That has no importance. All I know is I'm happy. What you've just said has made me very happy, but why can't I share my happiness with you? Who says I'm unhappy? Happiness is kind, it doesn't thrive on bloodshed. Then there must be two kinds of happiness, and I've chosen the murderous kind, for I am happy. There was a time when I thought I'd reached the extremity of pain, but no, one can go farther, yet beyond the frontier of pain lies a splendid, sterile happiness. Look at me. It makes me laugh, Casonia, when I think how for years and years all Rome carefully avoided uttering Drusilla's name. Well, all Rome was mistaken. Love isn't enough for me. I realized it then, and I realized it again today when I look at you. To love someone means that one's willing to grow old beside that person. That sort of love is right outside my range. Drusilla, old would have been far worse than Drusilla dead. Most people imagine that a man suffers because out of the blue death snatches away the woman he loves. But his real suffering is less futile. It comes from the discovery that grief too cannot last. Even grief is vanity. You see, I had no excuses, not the shadow of a real love, neither bitterness nor profound regret, nothing to plead in my defense. But today, you see me still freer than I have been for years, freed as I am from memories and illusion. I know now that nothing lasts. Think what that knowledge means. There have been just two or three of us in history who really achieved this freedom, this crazy happiness. Well, Casonia, you have seen out of a most unusual drama. It's time the curtain fell for you. Now it's impossible. How can you call it happiness? This terrifying freedom. Happiness it is, Casonia. I know what I'm saying, but for this freedom, I'd have been a contented man. Thanks to it, I have won the godlike enlightenment of the solitary. I live, I kill, I exercise the rapturous power of a destroyer, compared with which the power of a creator is merest child's play. And this is happiness, this and nothing else, this intolerable release, devastating scorn, blood, hatred all around me. The glorious isolation of a man who all his life long nurses and gloats over the ineffable joy of the unpunished murderer. The ruthless logic that crushes out human lives. That's crushing yours out, Gasonia, so as to perfect at last the utter loneliness that is my heart's desire. Oh, Caius. No, no sentiment. I must have done with it, for the time is short. My time is very short, dear Casonia. You too were guilty, but killing is not the solution. Caligula, you too are guilty. Then what of it? A little more, a little less. Yet who can condemn me in this world where there is no judge, where nobody is innocent? You see, my poor friend, Heligan has failed you. I won't have the moon. Never, never, never. But how bitter it is to know all and to have to go through to the consummation. Listen, that was the sound of weapons. Innocence arming for the fray. And innocence will triumph. Why am I not in their place among them? And I'm afraid. That's cruelest of all. After despising others, to find oneself as cowardly as they. Still, no matter, fear too has an end. Soon I shall retain that emptiness beyond all understanding in which the heart has rest. Yet really it's quite simple. If I'd had the moon, if love were enough, all might have been different, but where could I quench this thirst? What human heart, what God, would have for me the depth of a great lake? There's nothing in this world or in the other made to my stature. And yet I know, and you too know, that all I need is for the impossible to be. The impossible. I've searched for it at the confines of the world, in the secret places of my heart. I've stretched out my hands. See, I stretch out my hands, but it's always you I find. You only confronting me, and I've come to hate you. I've chosen a wrong path, a path that leads to nothing. My freedom isn't the right one. Nothing, nothing yet. Oh, how oppressive is this darkness! Helicon has not come. We shall be forever guilty. The air tonight is heavy as the sum of human sorrows. To history, Caligula. Go down to history. I'm still alive.